everyone. It is Sunday, which means that the work week starts again tomorrow. And if you're anything like me, you might be feeling the Sunday Scaries. So this practice is dedicated to finding the strength within, grounding a little bit, and preparing for the week ahead. So I'm joined by my little man today. He might be running around in the background, and let that serve as a reminder to us to embrace our inner child who just lives in the moment and doesn't worry about what's coming next, as we are doing on Sundays usually. So he'll be running around and we'll be flowing. So to start, we'll start in a nice seated, comfortable position. Go play, buddy. Thanks for joining us. And a comfortable seated position of your choice. I am in half lotus. You can start in a Virasana or a hero's pose. You can start in Sukhasana, whatever's comfortable for you. And we'll have our hands on our knees and we'll just take a couple calming breaths. So on our inhale deeply through the nose and exhale completely out of the mouth. On our next inhale, we'll rise our hands up overhead, getting a nice stretch in those arms, and exhale our hands to heart center. From here, we can bring our chins down to our chest, and we'll do a couple rounds of box breathing. In box breathing, we inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, then we exhale for a count of 4, and then hold for a count of 4. It's a nice way to ground when you're feeling anxious. So we'll begin on a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. And now do another round at your own pace. Come back to your natural breathing when you're ready. When you're ready, we're going to lift our hands up, reaching towards the sky, bringing the palms together, pressing the palms away towards the sky with our fingers interlaced, stretching, reaching up towards that sky. And then we'll twist to the right, bringing our left hand to our right knee and our right hand behind us for a twist. Inhale to lift and lengthen. And exhale to twist. Inhale, come back to center, bringing the palms together, pressing them away. And then we'll exhale to twist to the left. Inhaling to lengthen and exhaling to deepen your twist. Coming back to center, we'll bring our hands together, pressing the palms together and pressing them towards the sky with our fingers interlaced. And then we'll bring our right hand down to the mat or the ground and reach over for a side body stretch. Feeling it in our abdominals and in our arms. Coming back to the center, bringing our palms together, interlacing the fingers, pressing the palms towards the sky. And then we'll bring our left hand down and reach over with our right hand. Breathing in. Feeling that nice stretch in the side body and exhaling back to center. From here, we'll come into a tabletop position on our mats. Stacking our knees underneath our hips, our shoulders above our wrists. And we'll have our hands out like a starfish so we don't have all the weight dumped into our wrists. Dropping our belly, lifting our chin and our tailbone up for a cow pose. We'll exhale, bringing our chin to our chest, arching our spine for our cat. Inhale to drop the belly, lift the chin and cow. And exhale into our cat. A couple more rounds at your own pace. You're having too much fun here, buddy. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chin, lift the tailbone. And exhale into our cat. 2 more rounds. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And then we'll come back to a neutral spine here. From here, we'll bring our big toes to touch our knees as wide as our mat or as wide as is comfortable, bringing our hips down towards our heels and reaching forward, bringing our chest to the mat, and then our chin or our forehead for a child's pose. If at any time during your practice today you get tired, you need a break, or a pose just does not work for your body, please know that child's pose is always here for you. Taking a couple breaths before we start our flow. And then we'll come back into a tabletop position, tucking our toes and lifting our hips up and back for the first down dog of our practice. Taking a second to pedal it out, lifting one heel, dropping the other. Just a few times to stretch out the legs, the calves, the hamstrings. Making sure our biceps are in line with our ears. And when you're ready, we'll bring the big toes to touch and bring that right leg up and back and bend it off, stacking our hips, trying to keep our shoulders in line. And then we'll do a couple hip circles, bringing our knees out for circles in one direction. And then another. Before bringing our leg up and back, or split dog here, or 3-legged dog. And then we'll bring it into our chest and step it forward, pivoting our back heel parallel with our mat or at an angle, keeping our right knee above our ankle. And then we'll bring our arms out wide on either side of us for a warrior 2 position. In our warrior 2, we have one hand in the past, one hand in the future, and our heart in the present, trying to keep our shoulders stacked low, away from the ears, our head over our heart over our hips, strong in the legs, bringing that energy up from the ground and out through the fingertips, looking over those front fingertips here. And then we'll take a breath to straighten this front leg, bringing our hand down to the ground, to our shin, or to a block if you have one. Reaching that left hand up to the sky, looking up towards that left hand. Inhale. Exhale. And on your next inhale, we'll come back for a reverse triangle, bringing that left hand to our left thigh and reaching our right hand up and over. Try not to bring that shoulder too far forward. We want to keep our hearts and our collarbones open. Inhale, looking up to the sky. Exhale, coming briefly back into our warrior 2. And then we'll windmill our hands forward into a low lunge and step back to plank. From here, we'll take a vinyasa. You can bring your knees, chest, and chin and come up for cobra, or you can lower halfway for chaturanga, bringing your tops of your feet down to the mat and lifting up for an upward facing dog. Arms straight, elbows by your ribs, keeping your knees and thighs up off the mat. And then we'll exhale back to downward facing dog. Taking a couple moments to pedal it out or enjoying a moment of stillness. When you're ready, we'll bring the big toes to touch, extend that left foot back, bend our knee off, split dog, and do some hip circles in one direction. and then another. And then we'll extend that left leg back, bring it towards our chest, and step it forward. And pivot on that back foot, windmilling our hands up to our warrior two on this side. As I said before, we have one hand in the past, one in the future, and our heart in the present. And this is a great reminder for us on our Sunday that last week is behind us. We don't need to worry about that. Next week is tomorrow. We don't need to worry about that either. We can enjoy the present moment and enjoy whatever comes our way, one moment at a time. Inhale, straighten that front leg, bring our hands down to our shin, to the mat, to a block, and reach that right hand up to the sky, looking up towards our right hand, opening our collarbones and our hearts up towards the sky. Wonderful. And then we'll come up and back for a reverse triangle, bringing that right hand to our right thigh, reaching our left hand up and back. Inhale. Exhale briefly into our warrior two. And then we'll cartwheel our hands down to frame our front foot and step back to plank. Take a vinyasa here, lowering chaturanga or knees, chest and chin, and then come up for upward facing dog or cobra before we exhale back into a downward facing dog. You can take a brief child's pose here if you need a break, or enjoy a moment of stillness in our downward facing dog, remembering to breathe. Always remembering to breathe. If you're able to breathe, that means you're alive. And if you're alive, it means you're enjoying the greatest gift we ever receive here on earth, life. Taking nice full inhales and exhales. And meet me back in a downward facing dog if you're not here already. We'll bring our big toes to touch and extend that right leg up and back, bending the knee off, split dog. And then we'll inhale to bring it towards our chest, stepping forward, and we'll pivot our back foot again into a warrior two. Taking a moment in our warrior two to feel our strength, power, coming up from the ground, extending past our fingertips, looking over that front two fingers. And then we'll lower our left hand to our thigh and paint the sky with our right palm up and back for a reverse warrior, remembering to keep that front knee above your ankle. Inhale. Exhale back into our warrior two, and then we'll bring our right elbow down to our right knee and extend our arm up for the sky for an extended side angle. Again, keep that shoulder back. Inhale and exhale. Before we bring our left hand down to the mat, pivot on our back foot and open our right arm up to the sky, taking a new perspective here. Remembering in our week to come, if you face any conflict, any challenges with a coworker, a customer, a family member, maybe look at it from a different perspective here. Inhale and exhale. Our right hand back to the mat. This time we're gonna try to use some momentum here and step our left foot up to meet our right, as many steps as you need. And then we'll go into a forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. And exhale to fold, maybe grabbing opposite elbows. Beautiful. And then we'll lift ourselves up from our forward fold, one vertebra at a time. Step back here so you can see me as we go into our next pose, which will be a tree pose. We'll rise our hands up above our heads, bringing our hands to heart center here. picking a focal point ahead of us, we'll lift our right knee and pivot it, our right heel, and pivot our knee towards the right here, thinking of our hips how they are in a warrior two position. You could keep your heel lifted here for your tree pose. If you want to challenge, you might bring that foot up to your calf, or if you want to go into the full expression of tree, lifting it all the way up to your thigh, activating that pelvic floor, lifting it up, activating your mula bandha, our root bind for stability. Taking a few breaths here in our tree pose to ground, to center. Inhale and exhale to gently come out of our tree pose. Inhale, lifting our hands up and overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bringing our hands down to the mat. One foot out at a time for a plank, and then we can move through a vinyasa. So knees, chest, and chin to cobra or chaturanga to up dog. Inhale and exhale to downward facing dog. Pedal it out here. A few breaths. And then we'll bring our big toes to touch and extend our left leg back. Bending the leg off, split dog here for a moment. Stacking the hips, keeping our shoulders in line. And then we'll bring our left knee forward to our chest. Step it forward, pivot on that back foot, and windmill our arms up to warrior two once more. Keeping our head above our heart above our pelvis here. Looking over those front fingertips, nice and strong. And then we'll reach forward, flipping up our palm towards the sky, lowering our right hand here, and pacing the sky with our left hand for a reverse warrior. Open your heart and your chest to the sky here. Inhale. Exhale briefly back into our warrior two before we lower our left elbow to our knee and reach up to the sky with our right hand for a side angle pose. Inhale. Exhale to briefly come back to warrior two, and then we'll pivot on that back foot, bringing our right hand to the mat and raising our left hand up to the sky. A little bit of an awkward twist here, but again, sometimes you need a different perspective. Inhale and exhale, bringing that left hand down to the mat and taking as many steps as you need to bring your right foot forward to meet the left in a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Straight flat back here, reaching your crown forward and your tail behind you. Exhale, forward fold. Maybe grasping opposite elbows, taking a moment to rock back and forth, releasing some tension from your spine, from your neck, letting the head hang heavy here. And then we'll release our hands and roll up to standing, one vertebra at a time. Our head is the last thing to come up. We'll move into a tree pose on this side, raising our hands up and overhead. The palms meet and our hands come down to heart center. Find your focal point, something not moving, your gisty, and then we'll lift our left heel off the mat. Pivot that left knee towards the left, and you can keep your ankle here low. You can bring your foot up to the calf, or you can bring it all the way up to your inner thigh for a full expression of tree pose. Activating that mula bandha, lifting that pelvic floor for stability. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, feeling that power in your leg, in your body, knowing that you are ready to face that week ahead. And exhale to bring that foot back to the ground. Inhale, rising both hands up and overhead. Maybe take a mini back bend here. And exhale to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Planting the palms, stepping back into a plank position for our last vinyasa of the practice. So we're lowering down, coming up for cobra or up dog, and then exhaling back into a downward facing dog. Saying goodbye to our downward facing dog, but enjoying that last moment of perfect alignment in our spine, perfect alignment of our chakras here. If you're into that sort of thing, maybe pedaling it out for a brief moment. Before we enjoy a moment of stillness, taking in a nice, full, deep breath, filling both sides of the torso. And exhale completely as we bring our knees to the mat, bring our big toes to touch, bring our knees as wide as your mat or as wide as is comfortable, and sink your hips back, reaching your arms forward for a child's pose here. We've worked hard this practice, so take a moment to feel the energy coursing through your body, and as always, to breathe. We'll come back up to a tabletop position briefly, crossing our ankles, sitting back and extending our legs forward in front of us. Sitting up nice and tall, rising our hands up and overhead, and then leading with our hearts, bringing our chest forward for a forward fold, letting our hands rest wherever they land here. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to go deeper into your forward fold. Slowly roll up one vertebra at a time, and then we'll bring our feet to the mat, bending our knees here, and slowly lower ourselves to our backs. From here, we want to bring our heels towards our glutes until we can feel the back of our heels brushing against our fingertips. Bring your pelvis your lower back flushes your mat. You may need to tilt your pelvis to do this. And then we'll slowly lift our hips for our bridge pose, leaving our palms flat on our mat, or bringing our hands together underneath us for a bind. Inhale. Exhale to lower down slowly. We'll bring our knees to our chest, rock side to side a few times, massaging that lower back. And then we'll bring our knees up at a 90-degree angle, letting them fall over to the right as we cactus our left arm, looking over towards our left hand or up towards the sky, resting our right hand on top of our knee. Inhale. And exhale. Bring our knees back up and then over to the left. Cactusing that right arm, looking over towards our right hand or up towards the sky. Remembering to take nice deep inhales and exhales in our twist. One more big inhale. Exhale to come back to center, wrapping our arms around our chin, maybe lifting our chin and chest up towards our knees for a nice big hug. Curling ourselves into a little ball for a moment. Take a nice deep breath. Feel the support of your mat underneath your back. And exhale either into your Shavasana or rock yourself up into a nice seated position for a final few grounding breaths here in your Shavasana or seated. We'll close our eyes, flip our palms up towards the sky, and we'll come back to that box breathing. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more at your own pace. Return to your natural breathing. Letting your body feel supported by your mat. Knowing that your mat will always be here to support you. That your breath will always be here for you. As you move into the week ahead, know that you are powerful, you are strong. You can find that power within. And as long as you can breathe, you are alive, and you can get through whatever comes your way. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. If you're on your back, turn to your favorite side, using your bottom arm as a pillow. Taking a moment to reflect on your practice, to reflect on any feelings that may have come up during your practice, and to extend gratitude to yourself for coming to the mat today, for acknowledging that you may be experiencing the Sunday Scaries, but you want to do something about it, and you are ready to face the week ahead. Come back up to a nice seated position slowly, keeping your eyes closed. And all together we'll raise our hands up and overhead, bringing our palms to meet, and exhale them down to heart center. From my heart to yours, thank you so much for joining me on the mat today. We're going to have a great week, I promise.